But I guess that's just a normal week in America.
Let me tell you something. I feel, you know what, I do, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I feel some type of way about our first lady.
I'm not even talking about that. Like, first of all, let's let's address the elephant in the room. Mass media, you're not fooling nobody. I understand the different narratives that's going on right now, but the biggest one in American history is the fact that our ex-president has been indicted.
Yeah.
They are distracting us with the portrayal of everything else that's going on. Besides the fact that our ex-president has been indicted, and we have cut ties with the Saudi Arabia in the purchase of oil. Two things that should be front page.
Wait, whoa! I missed that. Hold on, I missed that.
Talking. I exactly. It's been a lot going on this week. But what we're gonna focus on, because this is a sports podcast, is still the racial divide that this country has. We cannot escape it.
So we're gonna talk about the Masters not inviting Greg Norman.
Well,
and saying it's about golf. We're not gonna talk about that.
That's just like you got this cousin that you know gonna act up at the cookout.
Right.
And when you invite him, he don't show up. But when you don't invite him, it's a whole show, a story.
Oh yeah.
So, and then if you don't invite him, he still might show up, and you know he always holding. So if it is so there happens to be an issue, now the kids ain't safe, grandma ain't safe.
Oh man.
I hope y'all ain't slow cooking nothing, because we about to have to eat this and get up out of here, man.
Oh yeah, no, it's about to get it's about to get ugly. It's about to get ugly.
I hope we ain't waiting on no brisket or nothing. I hope it's hot dogs and it's links and burgers, because anything else we gotta go. We can't wait.
Oh man. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Gathering the Old Men podcast. We are 3 men strong this week. We were hoping to have a special visitor, but she sent me a message saying that she'd like to reschedule, so we're going to try and get her on here at another time.
This would have been a perfect week for her to be here too. This would have been a perfect week, because I would love to have a woman's perspective on a lot of the issues that we talk about.
Well, she just hit me up and asked if it had to be right now, and I think she's in Middle America, so we'll see how that progresses. We'll see how that progresses. I'll hold off on a couple of things until she gets in. But you know, TP, it seems like football don't never end. It don't. It seems like football don't never end.
It should.
And I follow the HBCU trash talk, and they be trash talking. It's 4 months out, TP, and they talking trash. But I would, before we get into that, I feel like LSU has not responded to me properly. I feel like LSU was talking a whole bunch of shit, and when I said something, I ain't hear nothing back. I was on everywhere. YouTube, I was on TikTok, I was on Instagram, I was on Twitter. It seemed to me y'all had a whole bunch to say when I started talking, but y'all ain't, there's no response back. I don't understand it. Cause like we was all on our live stream talking about you was gonna beat Florida State 61-20. I need to understand where are you? Because last time I checked, Brian Kelly and Mike Old Cornrows Norval got the same number of national championships. And I don't even like our head coach. But I know what the records say. The records say that y'all got whooped last year by a coach that tried to give y'all the game. I know all this SEC is such a great conference. Y'all ain't whooped the team that couldn't beat a team that threw one pass in the second half. And I'm supposed to be scared of y'all the first month of the season. I ain't.
I mean, football is one of those sports where any given day, anything can happen. Because there's 22, 24 if you include the punter and kicker. 24 individuals, starters, not to mention the role players that come in as well. And if everybody ain't on the same accord, then the game can go a different way. You know, the dispositional factors that each individual has may be affected by the situation, and you never know what they are going through. You know, when we look at that first game last year, LSU did not look prepared. Maybe it's because it was so early in the season. That's a valid excuse. You still took that L, so don't try to say that, oh, that's why we took the L, because you're supposed to be prepared at all times. But that still may be the factor that led to them losing. Now, fast forward to next year, keep that same energy when the ball kicked off. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to talk shit now, keep that same energy when you get hit in the mouth. Because it's all fun and games. It's April. We in spring ball. Y'all ain't even hitting for real. And what they wasn't ready for was a Florida State team that been hitting all summer, because they were trash as hell the year before. So they hitting. You ever notice the good teams, they be kind of coasting? We're not going to hit too hard. We don't want to get nobody hurt. But the teams that's trying to get it out the mud, they scrapping. And you saw that in that first game. They ran it down their throat. They looked more physical than a team that's supposed to be in the more physical conference. Hey, they put their cleats on the same way, big bro. And they went out and gave it to him. Even though the coach, terrible, the play calling, terrible, but the players themselves were, for Florida State, were ready. They were more ready than LSU. So LSU, keep that same energy coming up this year.
And another thing, whenever we play in New Orleans, that's our city. Look at the national championships. Look at the bowl wins. New Orleans. I'm sorry, Marlo. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just baffled. Like, most of these people that are coming up and talking junk and all this, where they played at? When they suited up?
Oh, that you know, like, they ain't suited up.
You putting all this pressure on these kids that is out there working hard every day. Like, they literally out there busting their butt every day. So you can say that you root for a team and hope they win, or trash talk another team like y'all ain't did nothing. That's just the craziest thing to me on earth. But when the rubber meets the road and your team lose, you take the L. Don't go back and, oh yeah, but we wasn't this and we wasn't that. You ain't did nothing. You literally didn't do anything. You ain't strapped up. You ain't did a wind sprint. You ain't did nothing. You ain't out there working out with the kids. So people need to stop with so much bravado and you really are just a fan. Like that's all you are, is a fan. So you should be that. Root for your team. Putting them in positions to try to defend you is wrong. So that's all I'm saying about it. So keep it as a fan.
TP. So we know this Marlo, right? We know this Marlo. I sent Marlo a tweet where Jackson State was talking about they gonna win the conference again. Now it is only responsible of me to allow Marlo to respond. I think that's fair. I'm trying to fix Marlo camera. I don't know what's going on.
Me either, brother. I keep seeing it shake.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on there. That's a new one on me. Zoom. I'm putting it out there. That's a new one on me. So yeah, that's a new one on me. But Marlo, Mr. FAMU through and through.
All day, twice on the weekends.
You said you don't want to put no pressure on the kids. However, me and TP have been in the podcast when Debo showed up. Yeah, I think the phrase was, "I don't want them to win nothing." I believe that was the phrase.
I didn't say my kids are gonna beat their kids. I didn't say my team is finna go out there and beat doo-doo down their leg. I ain't say none of that. I just said what I want for their team. I don't want them to win a 9U flag football game and they got on pass. I don't want them to win an invitation, no soccer match, and they the only team there.
I'm telling you, if Oklahoma lost every game, I would celebrate. When Oklahoma loses, I smile.
But I'm not finna tell you that my kids is finna go out there and beat the dog poop out your kids, because I'm not finna put that pressure on them. Do I hope they win? Hell yeah. Am I rooting for them to win? Hell yeah. But I'm not finna get on a podcast or get on a platform and say, oh yeah, we finna do this or we finna do that, y'all. That, like, I'm gonna root for us all day.
I tell you what, if my sons got one Division I scholarship offer, and it was University of Oklahoma, they're going to Jackson State.
Oh shit!
I would not have a Sooner in my household. Do y'all hear me?
Oh man,
I feel you.
The hatred is too instilled. That rivalry with Texas going to SEC, like I'm gonna miss it because we love to hate them. Gives us something to disdain, you know. just like anytime Troy sees anything green and orange, he's upset. Or blue and orange, he's not happy. If it's Florida or Miami colors, he can't even wear it.
I need y'all to understand something. Like, the only good thing that ever came from a Gator was a boot. That's it. And quite frankly, I could care less if an actual hurricane came and blew Coral Gables off the map. I'd be okay. I would sleep like a baby. I sure would. But then I ain't, like I said, we 4 months out, people, everybody want to talk. I just wanted to make sure that, again, we go ahead and put it out there that that's the issue. So we're going to just go ahead and touch on this now so I can get it out my system. The fuck is going on in Vegas? Why are we signing all these New England Patriots? Why? I don't know who was paying attention to the history, but the NFL cheated us with the Patriots and created a fake god for 20 years. Why are we signing Patriots? This is not the Raider way. We don't sign clean-cut dudes. We sign dudes that cut people's cars in half. Those are dudes we sign. I don't. Oh. Brian Hoyer. If Brian Hoyer is in the game, you might as well put me in the game at this point. You might as well let me go ahead and take a few snaps. Because what we doing?
He still play football?
He is a Raider. We signed him to a 2-year deal for some odd reason. Unbeknownst to me.
But Colin Kaepernick can't get it? Never mind. I'll save it for later. Never mind. Marlo almost put my foot in my mouth.
You make it difficult to be a fan when you keep making these moves. And it's not like we didn't see him making dumbass moves, because when he was in Denver, he drafted Tim Tebow. Any man that drafts a Gator quarterback in the first round, he don't care about your organization. He don't care about his professional career. He don't care about nothing. Nothing. And now
don't forget, John Elway signed off on that. John Elway signed off on it. An actual quarterback.
Horrible.
You can't just. This man lived for 3 years.
What did they see on film that made them go, "This is our guy"?
He's big in religion.
I think that that plays a part when they're looking at the character of their quarterback. Come from a 2-parent household, good values, leadership, accountability. He hit all those check marks. They forgot to check whether or not he can actually pass. He hit every check mark. Even Deion said it. He said, "I want a quarterback that come from a 2-parent household. I know that he's gonna have a more level head, and he'll be easier to groom as a quarterback. I want my D lineman coming out the gutter, scrapping, trying to get to the top." I understand, the thought process behind it.
Deion's so full of shit with that statement. Like, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. What 2-parent household his sons came from? Just because he married, they wasn't in the house with his mama.
I don't think he was saying that to relate to his own kids. He was talking about he was basically trying to make a what's the word I'm looking for?
Justification.
Capping.
Yeah, he's trying to make a justification of how he would recruit a quarterback. Now, was it right?
Got your son starting since a freshman.
was that determination right? Is there a direct correlation between successful quarterbacks? See, this is a survey that would have to be done. We'd have to do a case study. It'd have to be a correlational study, and then we'd have to try doing an experimental study. Because you can't, when you say things like that, it may sound good to you, but like Marlo said, he say he full of shit for saying it like that. Because his own kids aren't that way.
Like that's so hypocritical. Wow. I mean, hey, if that's how he recruits, he getting the right school now. But how many recruits he got to go to Jackson State in that ilk? 2-parent households. You know.
As an African American in the United States, there's a large percentage of young black males that were not raised in 2-parent households. First of all, divorce rate is above 50%. So even if your parents were married, the chance of them still being married by the time you get to be an adult, that's cut in half. Even if your parents were married when you're born, you coming up in a 2-parent household, the chances are still more so that you will not be coming from a 2-parent household by that time, unless she remarried or she's with somebody else. But at that point, that defeats the whole purpose of the algorithm.
And but I get Dion has always had somebody in the house with him. But is that his parent, his kid's parent?
Right.
That dynamic, come on, bro. I call bullshit.
Well, so I'm about to throw a monkey wrench in the podcast. And it's just because things just pop up in real time. Well, we'll do this one first. Tyreek Hill. Well, let's just let him say it in his own words.
I'm going for 10, man. I'm gonna finish out this contract with the Dolphins, man, and then I'm gonna call it quits. You know, I wanna go into the business side. You know,
you want to be in the coaching too, right?
Yeah, but not for long though. Like I want to do so many things in my life, bro.
You want to come back and help us coach me and Gary coach high school football?
Can I bring my boys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I will bring the little cheetahs.
So what's your number one after football business idea or kind of goal after football?
So I really want to get into like the gaming space. Like I really want to get huge in that, and that's
all right. So the cheetah says after 2025 he gonna retire.
So first of all, I don't even like the Dolphins. Second of all, so if that's what you want to do, bro, you got the latitude and longitude. You signed a big enough contract to be financially stable. I don't even understand how that's a story. If I'm the Miami Dolphins, ain't no rest days for you. And you gonna run down the. Why am I running all the go routes? You finna make that money. I mean, kudos to him for giving them a heads up. He could have been like, keep this to myself and keep it tough. I ain't telling nobody nothing. They ain't got to worry about replacing me. But come on, bro. So
this is a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm not the type of person to tell everybody what my next moves are gonna be, because once you put it out in the air, you give other people the opportunity to put their negativity on it. So that's my first part. Second part is, if you are foreshadowing that you're going to end your career after your contract, that does give the fans and the organization the heads up that, hey, y'all got me for these last 2 years. I'm going to give it my all, because that's the way he plays the game. And I don't see him taking a step back because he is planning on retiring. You know, it's one of those things, like, you know, whatever show, podcast he was on, to ask these questions, he answered it.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, love or hate his response, he is the only person that has to live with that. So, you know, whatever ramifications that come from it, hey, he's given us already 8 good years. He has a ring. He's been dynamic. Not on the injured list. All pro. He's done it. He has all the hardware. 10 years, hey, I wish him the best of luck in his professional career, and he's smart enough to realize he's not going to stay in the game until his body gives out on him, like a lot of people do.
I ain't mad at him for giving himself an expiration date. I ain't mad, but my thing is that really a big news? Like, you 10 years in at receivers. How many receivers play for 10 years?
They're still,
yeah.
The way, and you look at the way he plays, they normally don't last that long.
Yeah, especially when it's all about speed.
You know, there's a few receivers I could say that played well past the 10-year mark that were seen as deep threat receivers. Joey Galloway comes to mind. You know, he was somebody that if him and Tyreek Hill was the race, if they primed, Joey Galloway would probably beat him. That dude was fast. And his speed is what allowed him to stay in the league so long. Another receiver, Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
You know, super dynamic. Not just, oh, he's kind of fast so he can get open. No, we talk about guys that literally had another gear. Tyreek Hill is one of those people. If he wanted to play till 15 years, he could. And still be effective.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna add this a little 2 cents in. I would be shocked that he is talking about retiring at 10 years, but the way they just opening the floodgates to the Hall of Fame, I retired too. They're letting anybody in. So, well, TP, this one kind of hit kind of home. And I know this is a little off script, but a Connecticut governor who attended the Final Four said after the semifinal game, he walked around downtown Houston and it was nothing to do because it was butt ugly. He said downtown Houston was butt ugly. You're the governor of Connecticut. One neighborhood in Houston is bigger than your whole state. What are you talking about? The last time I checked TP, I ain't never said, man, I really got to get up to Connecticut, man. I really got to see what them snow and polar bears look like.
Take a trip to Bristol.
Only reason I'm going to Bristol is because ESPN is signing the podcast.
Right.
That's it. Ain't nothing
I mean,
there.
I don't know what you expect from a downtown. See, Houston's downtown ain't a tourist attraction, first of all. There's the Astros are downtown, the Rockets are downtown. Hell, the Texans are another 45 minutes up the road. You got to drive to get there. It's still Houston. They still in Houston. Houston's just that big. But our downtown is nice for what it is.
You know what?
It's never meant to be a tourist attraction. There's strip clubs, there's regular clubs, there's very good restaurants. But as far as walking around, I'm from Houston and I never walked around downtown Houston. I never did. Should have took a trip to the Galleria Mall. Then you probably would have saw something. That's in a nice.
I was about to say that Galleria area is better than anything in the entire state of entire state of Connecticut. Anything.
But that drive from downtown to the Galleria, if he was in any city in Connecticut, he would have hit 5 cities by the time he got there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But I don't know. He hating. He can stay his ass up in the north. I don't really care.
He should be happy not to be digging his way out of snow, but I digress.
Ain't Connecticut a red state too? Like,
oh yeah.
That's the only reason you even allowed to walk around Houston. Like, first of all.
Ooh. All right, Marlo. Former Masters champion Sergio Garcia wants the media to stop asking questions about LIV versus PGA. He wants everybody to focus on the Masters.
First of all, who?
Sergio. You know, we older now. Remember Sergio used to be young Sergio. Not Sergio, old Sergio.
What Sergio won?
He want everybody to stop making a big deal out of the LIV PGA thing. He's saying the media.
You know what he sound. You know what he sound like. You know what he sound like. He sound like that little girl on that movie Hoes. I'm tired of these hoes, Grandpa. Well, it's too damn bad.
Oh shit.
You in the industry, you're gonna get asked about it.
It's not the media. It's the fact that the PGA was like, you know what, Greg Norman, we not gonna let him come. Greg Norman
that wasn't the
played
PGA.
in the Masters.
The PGA they have no authority on who gets invited to the Masters. It is the Masters committee. That's why it's a major.
But you know they gotta kiss. You know they gotta kiss the ring. You know they gotta kiss the ring.
They don't. Man, y'all don't understand the different thing that the Masters. When you charging $350,000 a year for membership, and you just started letting people of color in, like it's different over there. They got a different drum that they march to. It's crazy. And it's on purpose. That old money, the Masters, Augusta was built on cotton. I'm gonna let that sit there for a minute. You think they worried about the PGA?
You say it again for the people in the back.
Augusta was built on cotton.
Up in the peanut gallery.
Man,
that's another racial innuendo, if you didn't know.
Why you think they said, oh, if they won here and they on the LIV tour and they got an invite, we're honoring all of that. PGA ain't got no control over that. So, I'm back to Sergio. Sergio has not been a relevant golfer for the past 10 years. Like, why speak up? Why speak out? I mean, I get it. You still playing, but Tiger Woods have beat the brakes off you for over 25 years. Like, you couldn't win nothing if Tiger was in. And you didn't win nothing when he wasn't. So I don't understand. I don't get it. These people that have all this testosterone in their voice. It sounds like a cat. Yeah. It's like, oh, we shouldn't make a big deal out of this. Why not? And if they don't want to, then don't. But for you to come out and say, oh yeah, they're making a big deal out of it, says who? You don't control the media. You don't control these other players that's out there getting their money. Like, says who? I don't know. That's me.
So again, I find all of this to be interesting. And I find it to be interesting.
Good word.
I find it to be interesting. I find it to be interesting because there are players who are taking $100 million from LIV. The PGA has been none too thrilled with those players. But instead of improving how much money the hold on one second. I just got a message. How much money those other players are getting, they really, really, really need to consider how to improve, how to make the game more marketable, how to make more money from the game.
They tried that. They gave Tiger the golden ring. And then when Tiger had his fall from grace, there has not been another Tiger since.
See, and you can't have a situation where it's haves and have-nots. That's not gonna work. That is 100%
PGA Tour
not gonna work.
People don't understand how hard it is to actually get on the PGA Tour, and it really has very little to do about your talent level. If your name is big enough, your road to the PGA Tour is way easier than these people that are going out practicing 60 and 70 hours a week, going and playing on these little outback tours and trying to make a cut and be ranked in the top something of that tour so you can get a PGA card. And having to play every week when you're footing the bill is expensive. Like, you think Tiger had that route? Won't you come? Won't you bring all your millions with you? Won't you come? They welcome Tiger with open arms. Tiger made Nike get rid of its golfing division so they wouldn't have to pay him no more. Come on, man. This shit is crazy.
Well, like I say, it's. Can I say it's funny when white people get angry with each other? Can I say that?
Nope. You could say it's hilarious. Because white on white crime is the funniest. Have you ever seen a Karen running up on a Bob?
Well, you know what? That's funny you should say that, Marlo, because the Arizona Cardinals former vice president accused the owner of cheating.
Mm-hmm.
When the GM was suspended because of a DUI, the owner said, hey, we're going to communicate with these burner phones. I don't trust y'all to keep everything going for 5 weeks, so we're going to use these burner phones.
Oh, man. European crime.
Apparently, Steve Kent or Terry McDonough feels some type of way because he was unceremoniously showed the door. He hasn't been able to advance his career, and he's complaining about cheating, discrimination, and harassment. Bro, you had the key to the boys club. And I'm not saying it's right to cheat. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it at all. But either one or two things happen. Either you participated in the cheating hoping that it would advance your career and it didn't work out the way you thought it would, or you didn't participate in the cheating, you are in the boys club, and then you snitched on the team and you wonder why your career ain't take off. So I'm supposed to feel sorry for you when it's people who probably have equal talent and ability that don't get the shot at all. I don't feel sorry for you. And this is a horrible, wrong take, but I don't feel sorry for you. You had an opportunity that most people don't get. And you were unable to navigate your way through that situation. There are Black Coach Caldwell said he's not even going to attempt to be a head coach again because anything he did wasn't good enough. And you are in the door, man, if you don't get out of here. This is one of them situations where I hope the arbitrator rules in the NFL's favor because he had an opportunity.
No, I ain't gonna say that.
We know as Black people we gotta extra try.
Yeah,
you know? I mean,
that's a real thing.
I mean, and if you upset about that, that just goes to show your understanding of how this country works. Is it right? No. Should you stand up for yourself? Absolutely. But to cry about it is not the way to get things changed.
Absolutely not.
You want to get things changed, you enact that change yourself. But crying about it ain't never fixed nothing.
Oh, Terry McDonough. Your name Kunta now. Welcome to the family.
God.
Now you see how I feel.
What's your name, boy? What's your name?
That was, I mean, fuck it.
What's your name, boy?
Fuck it. If this, first of all, I need to see what he's done in his position to further the coaching. If it's 0, brother Broham.
He was a part of a staff that fired a Black head coach who drafted a first-round quarterback, who then hired a coach who never won nothing in college, who then got rid of the first-round draft pick, and then went on to go ahead and draft the tiniest of tiny tots as their first-round draft pick.
So the answer is he did shit. Gotcha.
Basically.
Ain't did shit.
So, bruh. All right. I'm telling y'all, man, you can relate this back to almost every hoodism ever. And like this dude get that job, he started off on fries. Next week he had to drive through. The week after that, he's setting the schedule, but he's still telling everybody, "Oh, you a minute late? Oh, you might as well go home." Oh, you talking back? You might as well go home. What you mean? I gotta leave. I was doing this for us. This is, I felt like this is our company, really. Set your ass down somewhere.
You better sit your $5 ass down or I make change.
Oh, they change.
But that's just another example of crabs in the bucket.
Yeah.
Y'all ever watch the show Snow on the Bluff?
Mm-hmm.
Crabs in the bucket. What crab? The crab at the top can't get out because the rest of them pulling them down. It's a cycle that we just can't seem to break.
I'm telling you, people don't understand. They keep up with. Let them keep up with this dynamic. Let them keep up with them thinking they can do and say and treat us how they want to. And it's gonna go from us looking for our fair share to us looking for revenge. Keep it up. Keep it up. It's already, if you look at from 1873, 1876 to now, how far the pendulum has swung. Like they don't understand they had a 200-year head start on us.
Who did?
On the oppression. The European Americans.
400 years. They had a 400-year head start.
I'm talking about from the 18.
It goes deeper than that.
It does. But it wasn't until the 16 somethings when it actually started getting silly.
That's 400 years.
But I'm saying from the 18 to the 16s is that 200-year head start. Now, we were doing that, I think, like when Frederick Douglass and them cats were changing the game. The pendulum started swinging in a different direction.
But
Now,
I was really going back to 1492 when they.
Oh Lord, you going? See, we can't count that.
Plymouth Rock. We didn't land at Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us.
Well, so all right.
And if you really want to dive into the history books, our ancestors have been selling each other way before they came to America. Way before the 1500s and the colonization of America. They have been selling each other.
But they stay in the same house. No.
It wasn't that deep. It was tribe versus tribe.
Yes, sir.
Tribe versus the Mamba tribe. We beat y'all in battle. We gonna take some of y'all captive and sell y'all to help pay for the stuff we need for our business. Yeah. That was the mentality in that area because that's what they were taught to survive. Now we still bring that same mentality now. Now, even in 2023, we sell each other down the road to get ahead. Today.
Especially if you ain't a part of the tribe.
If you ain't a part of the tribe and we catch you, you getting sold up the river. They don't know where that term came from. They used to sell you up to the Greenville slave auction in Mississippi. That was getting sold up the river. We literally still doing that.
Well, so this past week, it has been difficult for me not to get kicked off of social media. A couple reasons. Let's just be honest. The women's tournament has been the best this year that it has ever been. It had higher ratings than the men's tournament. It had higher ratings than the national championship game. This was the best tournament, ESPN, pay the women. This was the best tournament we've seen in a women's tournament in a long time. Never mind the fact that there was some shenanigans going on with the South Carolina game. We'll skip over that. We talked about it. We'll skip over that.
We on LSU, Iowa, and the ramifications that came from the gesture that Andrew Reese made at the end.
So let's just be honest. There was no way in hell Iowa was going to beat LSU. Wasn't going to happen. Wasn't going to happen.
Caitlin could have scored 60.
And I'm not saying that Caitlin can't ball, but when you have a team full of athletes, and unfortunately, I have to make this comparison. When Indiana State played Michigan State with Magic Johnson, and Indiana State had Larry Bird. Larry Bird could have scored 1,000 points. They wasn't going to win that game. Caitlin could have scored 1,000 points. They wasn't going to win that game. Because, see, there's this thing called motivation and the power of motivation. And white people, pull up a chair. Let me inform you of something. If you hear these words from a person of African American descent, you might need to pay attention. And these words are, what you ain't gonna do, and everything followed after that is a problem. What you ain't gonna do is look at me at the 3-point line and dare me to shoot, because they were shooting lights out. Girl had 21 points in the first half. Look at her shoot if you want to. Good night, Irene. You ain't gonna out-rebound us. You ain't gonna out-physical us. They had their bigs in foul trouble early. Once their bigs got in foul trouble, it was over. Game over. Because now you got to deal with Angela Reese. Period. And there was all this stuff about Angela Reese shouldn't have been the most outstanding tournament player and all of that. I'm sorry, Angel. Mother's name Angela. Dude sliding in the DMs. We talked about that last week. Anyway, Angel Reese is a leader. She set the tone. She set the mission. And she made sure they accomplished the mission. And in accomplishing that mission, if you live by the sword, better believe you are going to die by the sword. So if you want to make your little gestures and can't see me and bye-bye, and I ain't got to guard you, all of that, them chickens come home to roost. And boy, did them chickens come home to roost. Them chickens came home to roost. So bad that our vice president's wife, who, by the way, I don't like our vice president. I'll get into that later. Our vice president wife, you know what?
Our president's wife.
I'm sorry, our president's wife.
He used to be the vice president.
You know what?
Yeah.
I still feel like, you know what? I feel like Angel Reese. My president is black and my Lambo is blue. I feel like that. But anyway, I'll let it go. Our president's wife decided that I'll soothe some hurt feelings and I'll invite, or I'll make a comment that maybe Iowa should come to the White House too. Winners go to the White House. Losers go home. There are no participation trophies.
I was just about to ask you, did they get one of them too?
Jesus. It's not how that works. You don't get to determine who goes to the White House. You watch the games and you congratulate the winners. You know what? Sean Connery said, winners go home and fuck the prom queen. That's what Sean Connery said.
Let me just say this. I ain't really gonna be all racial, but do you think that the women's basketball championship game was viewed more because they thought Iowa really had an opportunity to beat a predominantly African American team, and they had a predominantly European American team? Do you think the viewership, like in the history, like UConn has had a team that could compete. South Carolina State has had a team that can compete every year since Don Staley got there. And the viewership has not been that. The only X factor in this championship game was that it was a team of predominantly white individuals, European Americans, playing a team of predominantly African American individuals. That's what viewership. And the narrative up until that point, when the rubber really met the road, was, Oh, well, she can play with anybody. She's a great player. Now all year she's been doing the same stuff. Nobody has said it was disrespectful. Nobody. Oh, she's a competitor. Oh, she's this. She's classy. She has game and she has range. That takes absolutely nothing away from her athletic ability. I think that her game can transcend to any other level of basketball because with her range or her handles, she legit. But when you got to eat that humble pie, when people really realize these girls have been doing this in their yards and in their neighborhoods for as long as, like, this ain't no new thing. Angel Reese has not just came on the scene. She's been a baller. She's been that lady.
For the past 2 seasons, she's only a sophomore.
But I'm telling you, she's been that chick.
She's been a starter since she was a true freshman.
I don't understand why people don't see the problem with making comparisons. Like, if
I don't even know
back
if
in the day,
I don't even think it was the comparison between them as far as gameplay.
No, it was a comparison of character.
It was a comparison of racial background, not even character, because there is nothing that Angel Reese has done since she stepped since she's been at LSU that you can say that was classless.
Right.
Now fast forward to the Iowa South Carolina game, Kaylin hit her with the John Cena. That's not even the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen on a basketball court. She didn't give her the middle finger. She didn't hit her. She didn't dance in her face. She didn't do none of that. And it wasn't looked at as something that was egregious.
She didn't get a take for it.
But when Angel Reese does it, now it's classless. Now it's tasteless. She's a bad sportsman. First of all, stop babying these girls.
They didn't ask for it.
Because they knew what they was getting themselves into when they strapped up them shoes that night. They knew it was gonna be a dogfight. And feelings are gonna get hurt. You got the first lady inviting the losers to the White House because they feelings were hurt.
Never ever done in the history of freaking college sports.
And the crazy part about it seemed like the country was more hurt than they were. Yes. That's my problem. And why were they hurt? Because the white team lost. They don't like seeing the white team lose.
They ain't just lose.
When it's white versus black, they don't want to see the white team lose. And they're going to find a reason to be upset.
The game wasn't even close.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. But that's where that came from. It's not, the team is upset at the way they lost. Oh, they got cheated. Oh, we feel bad for them. No, they got handed. Hands and feet put on them. Well, we're going to invite the loser to the White House because we feel bad. No. And why do you feel bad? Not because they lost, but because white lost. It's a win for the black folks. They don't want that. People,
I don't know.
They used to say there's nothing scare white man more than a black man with power. Now this is in America. Less than 50 years ago, that was a real saying. There was nothing scarier to a white man than a black man with power. Now, we looking at white women versus black women. And at one point, black women were seen as the lowest of the low in this country. So for them to be elevated to the top of their game, it's another notch at them. They think black excellence is white hate, and it's not.
Absolutely. So part of the fallout from all of this was the president, Dave Portnoy, calling Angel Reese a classless piece of shit.
Who?
And then he doubled down on the shit.
Who did it?
The president of Barstool Sports. Why that's important is because remember when Prime first got that big endorsement and was getting money for the making of Coach Prime at Jackson State and all that hoopla, the company that gave him money, which everybody associated that with Travis Hunter going to Jackson State, was Barstool Sports. Barstool Sports has a podcast network. And essentially what it is, this is a marketing machine. There's no secret sauce. They've not created anything that can't be duplicated by African-American content creators. However, two of those African-American content creators on that platform, two of the biggest players on that platform, is the $1 million worth of game podcast. Now, Gillian Wallow, I think Gillian was the guy that first produced or did the first production for 50 Cent, who 50 Cent said, I'll give you money on my album. And the guy's like, no, I want $10,000. That's what 50 Cent is talking about. And these guys recently, last year, celebrated, hitting millionaire status because they had a $1 million podcast. Now, the Gathering of Old Men podcast on the Fat Mouth Sports Network is our own creation. We are building it slowly with our own money, and we're doing it our way. However, when your overlord masters say something that may get you looking sideways amongst the community, well, you know what? I'm gonna let them speak for themselves because their own words should say everything.
Congratulations for being the champions. And I'm gonna say this. We don't stand with nothing that Dave Portnoy said in any type, shape, forms, or fashion. We're not in agreement with that. We're not in alignment with that in any way. And number two, $1 million worth of game LLC is owned by two people, Wallace Peoples and Fernard Rossier. We do not work for Barstool. We have a partnership. We have a licensing deal. 100% ownership is by us. We don't have.
All right, so a couple things there. And you guys know because we podcast over every platform, everywhere. It does not take me an incredible amount of effort. It takes effort, but it doesn't take an incredible amount of effort. It doesn't take an incredible amount of know-how to build this network. Secondly, a licensing deal is not what they have. They have a marketing deal. That marketing deal allows Barstool Sports to push their content out to its millions and millions of millions to be consumed. And unfortunately, part of those consumers are African Americans. But I'll let him continue.
I have no bosses. I only got one boss, and that's God. And my wife, whenever that happens, whenever I get married. But other than that, that's how we rock.
You be your boss?
Yeah, you know, that's how that shit go, cuz. That's how it go, People like, Tootie got the control of the money.
Okay.
Well, shut up. Yeah, so, but what I'm saying is, shout out to Angela Reese. You did a great job, young sister. And we're not just gonna stand for that. Like Dave, for her to be a classless piece of shit because of basketball, you're wrong about that shit.
And we love you, Dave.
We fuck with you, Dave.
But we fuck with you.
What? Let me tell you something. So what you're not gonna do is you're not gonna control my content and call my people classless pieces of shit. I got 3 good fights left in me. What I'm gonna get used that day. I'm gonna find Dave and I'm gonna holler at him because right before I break this contract, I'm gonna break my foot off in his ass. Because you don't get to, oh, what do I want to say? How do I want to say this? You don't get to take a podcast, make people believe that you're about the culture. Now, if you look at any of the Barstool other channels, if you will, they are so pro-Trump. They are so it's so white supremacist. It is all of that. So for Wallow and Gilly to still be there, I'm disappointed. Let's just be honest. I'm disappointed. And I know I got good people in my corner. And I think if me, Marlo, and TP was still at Barstool Sports after that, I might have to see them in the parking lots. I know the type of people I surround myself with. Ain't no way they supposed to be on that network. Ain't no way. And they are indicative of what's wrong with Black content creators. They build content and look for other people to support them.
Let me tell you something, Troy. We can disagree about a lot of things, but race ain't one of them. We can disagree about a lot of topics. We can go back and forth, but one thing that we will never be able to disagree on and still be part of the same organization or same marketing deal, however you want to phrase it, to make it sound like you not a part of that, it's not okay. It's not okay. Because what you try to do is try to put a blanket on things. And what we see is people start rationalizing their actions. You know.
Yep.
This goes to their mental fortitude. You start rationalizing means that you're making excuses for your behavior. You're not a child.
I'm gonna take it from a different tack. When he said at the end of that, like everything he said leading up to that point fell flat when he said, "We love you, Dave. We fuck with you." Basically, you're telling your audience that we know he, excuse me, we know he did some slimy or said some slimy shit, but he ain't all that bad. Like you basically extended the olive branch to him. Like you can't go on and say, yeah, saying she a piece of shit. Yeah, we don't fuck with that, but we love you, Dave. Why? Why say that last part? If you disagree with what he said, stand on that disagreement. Don't go and try to give him cover by culturally accepting him for the person and the things that he said. Because that's pretty much what you're doing.
And then look here, Marlo. When I say I don't stand for something, that means I'm gonna do something about it. So by you saying that, what's your next move?
Exactly.
Because you just said we not gonna stand for that, but we love you, Dave.
And what's so crazy is I follow $1 Million Worth of Game because they have some really insightful interviews about the culture. And they talk to a lot of folks that you really don't see getting interviews or hearing their side of it. But when it comes down to cooning, because that's practically what that shit was. That's cooning. I don't agree with that. But I fuck with it. I fuck with their podcast because they have some real dudes, some street dudes, and they like you'll get it blood raw, and that's cool. But when you come out and say, "I fuck with you, I love you," after he come out and call a sister, a sophomore in college sister, a piece of shit on a platform where millions of people hear you, it has to be pushback. There's no middle ground there.
And look, vulgarly saying things is not racial appropriation.
Correct.
Bottom line, it's not. You ain't got to talk like that to be culturally involved. It's not needed.
But why would you call a sophomore in college who just won a national championship a piece of shit for doing the exact same thing? You didn't have the same energy when Caitlyn did the same goddamn thing.
Nah, it was swag back then. Like you say, shit was all good just a week ago. It was swag back then.
That's like, everybody know what it is. There's no person who heard it that didn't take it for what it was. Not one.
And I was like, you know, Stephen A pisses me off a lot of times, but he stood up and said something this time. I don't be having to worry about Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp gonna keep it real. He don't care. He gonna say what needs to be said, and I appreciate him. But you know, Stephen A, he came out and said what he had to say, and yeah, that's what it was. It was cool when Caitlyn did it, but it's not cool when Angel Reese of African American descent does it. The exact same thing. Goes to the point of the racial divide that we still have here in America.
They are going to reap the day when African Americans decide that it's no longer about fairness. That it's no longer taking what people give us.
And look, we sit here and we had this racial debate, not between us, but I'm saying as far as this country goes. Look, in 100 years, everybody gonna look like Bruno Mars
anyway. and you ain't far off.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
It ain't a surprise that people are all over the equator and that longitude and latitude.
That are
ain't nobody going to the mountains of Caucasoid no more.
But I had to give my wife this history lesson. I'm gonna give it to y'all. Here we go. Long time ago, the people of this country were lighter of skin. Why? Look where it's located geographically. People with darker skin, find us in Africa, South America. People migrated, the skin light. If you really think about it, this country going back to lighter of skin is really just returning to normal. And it's going to happen. With the interracial couples, we're seeing it being more accepted. Now, if you even in South Africa, up until 20 years ago, interracial relationships were illegal. Up until apartheid was disbanded. So even in that part of the world, they're still dealing with the racial divide. But here in America, we have it on a deeper level because we were enslaved by the same people that are now still trying to hold us back. Now, it's not all white people, but you know who you are. And you know who you are when you look at somebody black and look down on them because of the color of their skin. You know who you are. I ain't got to say it. Act like you don't say the N-word at home. We know you do. And we know when you see us in public, you're not gonna say it because you know you're gonna get beat the fuck up. But at the end of the day, we know what it is. Closet racism is real, and that was another example of it. He just put his foot in his mouth and spoke too quickly. A lot of times people speak without thinking before they speak. And
I truly
the real
believe.
them come out. The real them comes out when they
I
speak
truly
without thinking.
believe if he had it to do over again, he definitely would not have said what he said.
Exactly. But the real
If he
him
didn't think he was just okay in amongst his people to say what he did, he would never say that shit again.
and I guarantee you what he said to his people was worse than that.
Of course.
But again, the real you come out when you speak without thinking. Be careful of your word choice.
So, Marlo, we might have something to worry about. And this is, I know we ran a little long on a lot of topics, but this is one of the things that popped up. There are going to be people at church on first Sunday that's going to need to be concerned. How can I say this? I'll let that play right there. We'll probably get a. So Hulu has announced that there is going to be Freaknik, the documentary. Hulu announces Freaknik, the wildest party never told, documentary chronicling how the notorious event came to prominence and its demise. There are going to be people.
First of all, ain't no pictures. There wasn't no cell phone. I don't care. Show it. Who might be in trouble?
It's some Polaroids.
If I see either one of y'all, I'm clipping it, and it's gonna be in my background next podcast. I bet I see either one of y'all.
You ain't never got to worry about seat now. There was some occasions where I was a little inebriated and may not recall every aspect of the evening, but ain't no pictures.
Oh, it's story time. It's story time. Oh, it's story time. So, TP.
I know nothing.
We we all grown here. We had past. We was young men. And this isn't Freaknik per se, but this is Black Beach Weekend. In a particular Black Beach weekend, I could not make it down because I had other obligations. So you would think, your homeboys go have a good time and chill out, right? So a few weeks later, remember the Polaroids, not the Polaroids back then. A few weeks later, I'm looking through a scrapbook and I see my oldest kid's mom's cousin hugged up with Marlo. And I'm trying to figure out, out of 8 million people on the beach, how?
With me?
I'm so glad I'm so glad them scrapbooks are gone to hell somewhere.
It wasn't me. Show me.
What was his name? Did she come me on the camera?
Shaggy.
Shaggy.
Wasn't me.
Shaggy Dickens.
Wasn't me.
We're gonna start calling you
I wish
Shaggy
a
Dick.
motherfucker would talk about
We're gonna
something
start
with me.
calling you Shaggy Dickens. It wasn't me.
First of all, if there is any footage out there of me, please believe that it better not come to light, because I too am a souvenir keeper, and you do not want to play them kind of games.
Let me tell y'all the type of person Marlo is. I ain't known him for that long, but I'm gonna tell you what type of person he is. And Marlo, you correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't do it. I wasn't there. I don't have no information on it. Well, here's a picture of you. I don't know. It looked blurry.
You already know.
But no, but that looks like you. You heard what you said. Looks like.
Yeah, not me. I don't even know what y'all talking about.
I need some DNA proof. Well, how we get DNA proof from a picture? Well, I guess it wasn't me then.
Wasn't me.
Fuck, we still talking about it.
Cause I know I ain't got none of them clothes. So you can't go in my closet and tell myself, oh, I know you got the same shirt. Oh shit. You're a favorite, and the truth is not in
that's
you.
Marlo right there. That I hit the head. That I hit the nail on the head.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I wish
They used to call you Jawbone. That's gonna be Marlo.
I don't know. It looked
Yeah.
blurry.
Ain't even got to worry about it. What
It
y'all
looked
talking
blurry.
about? What? Huh? I'm gonna tell y'all a funny story.
Better have the context of your question phrased properly.
I want to hear this story.
This is how you know you had. This is how you know you had way too much fun when you was in school. My son, Jaren, called me and said, Dad, I met this girl and I went over to her mom's house and she was like, oh, well, who your people is? And I said your name and her face just lit up. Your daddy is Marlo? I said, what the heck? I still don't know who this person is, but it'll take Jaren to tell you the story. Bruh, I don't know this person, but they know me. And I don't even know how.
You know I was in Tallahassee in the 90s, right?
I don't know how I know this person.
You know I was in Tallahassee in the 90s, right?
I'm just being 100. I don't know this lady. I'm gonna ask Jen. I'm not gonna do it.
I don't know them.
It was the 90s. There's a lot of people we don't know now.
Hey.
You start. Hey, look, when people start saying you know somebody that you don't wanna know, the real culture come out there. Boy, I don't know them. Who them is? Nah, where I know them from?
Oh my God.
The real culture start coming out their voice. I don't even know them.
There was this dancer on Moon TV.
Show ass up. Shut your ass up. What the hell? Can't believe that name.
Do you understand that Moon TV has physical? Oh my God! The news station has physical evidence. Oh man,
Wasn't me.
We got to break into the news station.
For what? What is wrong with you?
For what?
To damage their footage, their archive? What are you talking about, sir?
You know they say some stones should remain unturned.
What? I'm finna put boulders on top of this shit. This is not going down.
Look, there's a rattlesnake waiting for you when you flip that over. Just know, and it will sting.
It is It's an exploding rattlesnake. So you ain't gotta even do much. It's gonna blow everything in the area up.
Mm-hmm.
The hell? We need to break into the news station. What is wrong with you? First of all, you probably was on the Moon TV in your sandwich days.
Hey.
Exactly. That's how I feel.
I'm trying to shut down any possibility of certain things coming to the light of day. I might want to run for Congress.
I'm not running from no public office. Do you know? Never mind. That's not a real thing.
Here is my byline. It was the 90s. I was a young black man and I was at Florida State. That is my byline. Anytime somebody say, did you do? I was a young black man in the 90s at Florida State.
True
story.
This is a true story. And I'm not finna, the names, I'm not talking about you. This is on me. I used to work for this daycare when I was in Tallahassee called Imagination Station. Like, I used to drive and pick the kids up. Why, one weekend, transportation was scarce. We had the little bus. We took the little bus to the club, y'all. The little daycare, not the van.
First
the little school bus.
That was homecoming weekend. And I was there.
That was crazy. But that was Tallahassee. Like, things like that could happen now.
We should probably figure out what the statute of limitations are before we continue.
I ain't commit no crime. I just was driving the bus to the club. And pulled too. He had a bus loader. You don't hear that story every day.
For a reason. We got different lives now. We save, we go to church.
Well, funny is funny. That shit is funny. That happened in real life. That is funny. Can you imagine 6 or 7 dudes getting out of a bus at the club with Imagination Station on the side of it?
The look on TV's face.
Oh shit! And then
looking at us admitting the felonies, by the way.
That ain't no felony. I ain't have no kids on the bus. But I did go to Florida State and pick up some stuff later that night. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, if y'all kids ain't been to college, I'm not saying do stuff like that, but your experiences are different in a controlled environment. College was a controlled environment for me. I knew where the line was. I just ran right up to it. Where it was.
We need to, you know what? We need to get Rick on here and tell about the day that Shay stole his debit card.
Oh my God. We are not doing that. I can't even believe you said their name. You got to change the name to protect the innocent. They both are
nobody
upstanding citizens right now.
You know what? Rick is an absolutely upstanding citizen.
We're not saying what either one of them do. But low key, that shit was funny.
Oh God. Oh
we
man.
should have a segment when we go call that shit the Hill Days. Because I have stories. Y'all ain't know I used to hunt. Like, I'm an avid outdoorsman. I used to go hunting and fishing almost on a daily basis. And I used to go hunting with somebody who you really shouldn't go hunting with, because if you should never hunt with an idiot.
Are you talking about your boyfriend?
Yes. And why don't stop saying names?
I didn't say.
What the hell, man?
I don't remember his name. I just remember Yo-Yo, and that's not even Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo is not her name. Anyway, I just want to know why you would go hunting with that dude when y'all was like about to go to sea because y'all lost the horse to the canoe.
I have several stories like that with this dude.
Oh God.
First of all,
podcast.
These are the warning signs you are doing something you ain't supposed to be doing. First of all, you decide to go hunting in the afternoon in the national forest. That's first. First of all, you violate laws anyway. Second of all, it's in the afternoon, it's finna get dark soon. But we did it anyway. Then the second warning sign is you don't go hunting off-road in a damn Nissan Datsun wagon. You just don't do it. That's just some hunting 101. You don't go off-road in a Nissan Datsun. You don't do it. Then the second warning sign is when you get to your hunting grounds, you do not, and I repeat, you do not forget where the car is. And that when it gets dark, you got to figure out how to maneuver and turn the car around, and there's ditches on both sides. So, long story short, we finally figured out where the car was through my excellent scouting navigational abilities. We find the car, we get in the car, we proceed to try to turn. I'm not driving. It's his car. He proceeds to try to turn the car around and go and get stuck in a ditch. And we are 5 miles deep in the damn national forest in Panacea. 5 miles deep. Now we have two options. We can sit there and go to sleep in the car, hoping somebody run around and walk up on us, or we can foot it 5 miles out of the forest to the main road with guns. Let me give y'all some background about North Florida. North Florida has been, and probably still is, one of the most racially tense areas you probably ever gonna run up. And then if you're in the national forest, it doesn't bode well for you because everything around there is good old boys. So we decide to walk out with guns. I have a Mossberg pump, and I have also a sidearm. He has a shotgun, and we walking out. We get to the main road, and let me tell y'all can say what y'all want about them 25-20s, but me personally, would never have stopped for two Caucasian gentlemen on the side of the road, walking, running, bear crawling, or any otherwise, and they got firearms on them. We're gonna keep going. This white dude, European American, pulls over. Hey guys, it looks like y'all are in some trouble. What? You stop? I can give y'all a lift up to the store, but I can't go back in the woods because my truck won't be able to get your car out. He drops us off in front of a Swanee Swifty I don't know if y'all remember that convenience store, but
There's
we are
Swifty
sitting
by
in
now, ain't there?
we are sitting in front of Swanee Swifty with 12 gauge gun and sidearms in front of the store. Two black dudes in a less than urban area in front of a store. The cashier comes out. This is why I'm telling you, I love them. She comes out and says, huh, looks like y'all in trouble. My boyfriend has a truck, he might be able to help. I said, okay. 5 minutes. This dude rolls up in the biggest off-road Dukes of Hazzard monster truck with chains and balls hanging from the back of the truck. He said, oh, sure, I'll pull you out. I stayed at the store because I wasn't going back in the woods with this guy. So Chris went back in the woods, and about 20 minutes later, he comes strolling down the street behind this big ass truck. I said, I'm glad you're back. Let's get the hell back to Tallahassee. This is the stories that you gather while you're attending historically Black universities in North Florida.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So
I got a lot of them.
I just want to say this now. Our horrible attempts at protecting the names to protect.
Yeah.
They ain't really innocent. Let's just be honest. They ain't nobody innocent in these stories. We have failed misery to protect anybody's name.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I ain't say his last name. But it rhymes with, nah, I'm just playing.
Well, you know what? It's been an interesting week. TP, what you got for us this week? Hopefully not admitting the felonies on a podcast.
I ain't admitting no felonies.
Oh,
It might have been.
What an interesting week. What an interesting week. My word to y'all for the week is stay informed. Don't let what the mass media narrative wants it to be dictate the information that you are privy to. You won't know anything unless you go seek that information. You know, a lot of times we get on social media and we just looking at the funny stuff, but there's real things happening in the world that can and will affect you. The only way to prepare for something is to know what to prepare for. And failure to plan is a plan to fail. So always understand that the world is constantly moving, changing, and evolving. And you have to be able to keep up with it or you will get left behind. History has taught us over and over again, if we don't learn from it, we are bound to repeat it. And a lot of things that have happened in history are negative. History is full of negative things that have happened. And we still act like we haven't learned from it. This whole issue with Angel Reese is just another example of us not learning from history. This country will continue to be racially divided until we learn from the mistakes of our ancestors. And this not even going 2-3 generations down the line. This might be your mama. This might be your daddy. Might be your uncle. You know? And hate is taught. When a child is born, they are a clean slate. They learn to hate. There is no child that has ever been born hating somebody for the way they look. You've seen it where a kid want to be friends with another kid, but their parent is telling them, no, you can't be friends with them because of the color of their skin. And until that stops being an issue in this country, we will have the racial divide. Because once you grow up that way, it becomes how you are. You know, we say behavior is learned. Attitudes are learned. And if you do something long enough, it becomes learned behavior. So pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to the people that you work for or work with. A lot of times, there's a bigot sitting right next to you. You'll never know it. Because they getting good at hiding it. But you know who you are, you know, and we appreciate the Caucasians that will speak up for us and will do what they need to do or feel like they need to do to support African Americans in this country, Latino Americans, Asian Americans. For a country that's supposed to be a melting pot, we sure got a whole lot of hate. You can't build yourself on one image but then conduct yourself in another way. It's called hypocriticism. So need y'all to take a look in the mirror and understand that the person that you want to be isn't going to be a great person until you start to learn to love everybody else. But that's my 2 cents for y'all. We appreciate y'all for listening to what we got to say.
Marlo?
Mine is, I ain't gonna say it's short, but it's real. Like, I live in the state of Florida. I don't know if people have been keeping up with what's going on, and it's the implicit attack on, I think, the Black culture. You can say or do things that may be a little right, a little in the middle, but when every legislation that you have or are coming out with for the state of Florida are to restrict or to hamper the rights of others in some form or fashion, it's a problem. Like, your legislative agenda have not addressed so many issues that are going on with the communities around here that you can't honestly sit and say that you are passing legislation for the people. Like, they have made it a point to target, to attack, to vilify anything that does not look like them. Like, literally, anything that doesn't look like them, they have made it a point to do everything in their power to stamp it out. Like, they don't want you to learn about history in the state of Florida. Not Black history, because if it was false, no kid should learn that. But if it's all true, and you try to say, oh, it's woke or it's this, and it's all code words. All code words for trying to limit the knowledge that a people could gather. It's a problem. When, like, the Germans did it, that didn't work out too good for Nazis. Like, you can't limit knowledge, because once it's out the box, especially in this age, everything's on the internet. Like, yeah, I don't understand. But I say that to say this. If you do not participate in the experiment, that's what America is. It's an experiment. If you do not participate in the experiment, you are literally spitting in the face of the people that have paved the way before you. Excuse me. So I urge everyone to participate in the experiment. Take somebody with you who may or may not see eye to eye. You don't really care who they vote for. As long as they vote, you shouldn't care. As long as they're participating in the process, then we're on the even playing field. And that's all I'm saying.
Wow. So this is a very interesting time. And it's an interesting time because this is that time in the college sports season where we're all giddy about the men's national championship, the women's national championship. I find it difficult sometimes to be giddy about it. And here's why. Long time ago, there was a player in college that was probably 3 times better than Michael Jordan. He was arguably going to be the next great Boston Celtic. His name was Len Bias. And I feel like Len Bias does not get his correct due in history. And a lot of that is because if we put and shine a light on Len Bias's life, we then have to, the United States has to answer questions for what they did to African Americans. Len Bias' story is one of tragedy. One of a young man trying drugs for either the first time or a small amount of times. He overdosed and died after being drafted by the Boston Celtics. The story gets interesting because Tip O'Neill, who was the Speaker of the House from Massachusetts, decided that he was going to stamp out drug use of this crack cocaine. And he gathered support and he got bipartisan support. By the way, Tip O'Neill was a Democrat. It's very important. He got bipartisan support to come up with the toughest drug legislation in the history of the world. Couple ancillary stories about this. We also had an Iran-Contra issue with Ronald Reagan. So we were fueling the prison industrial complex with the lives of young Black and brown men in order to sell drugs in predominantly African American communities to gain money for guns to send to Iran so that they can get into the hands of the Mujahideen and also fight leftist rebels in Central America. And all of this came after one guy who was going to be a basketball star overdosed and died. It is the darkest, ugliest spot in my lifetime. The crack epidemic ravaged my city, ravaged my community, ravaged the Bay Area, destroyed the state, gave rise to legends of killers and drug dealers who we hold up in some strange high esteem like it's some glorious thing. No. Alpo was a terrible person. Wonder Man and Jed were terrible people. But when we talk about sport, we like to make sport not that important. Sport is the only thing that is bigger than religion in this country. You want to integrate schools? Get University of Southern California to beat the brakes off of Alabama. You want to get legislation to lock up Black and brown people? Let sport be the driver from some hurt fans' feelings on a player dying, and now the Boston Celtics dynasty just dies after Larry Bird. We was there. And now we got to deal with it. But a lot of people seem to forget that the Democrats led that. I'm not giving the Republicans no pass because they was on that choo-choo train also. But that started with Tip O'Neill. And one of Tip O'Neill's greatest allies was Joe Biden. That's how this legislation got passed. So my expectations of Joe Biden's wife, when my expectations of him are very low, of course she's going to say invite Iowa to the White House. Of course. She doesn't value us because her husband doesn't value us. And that's all I need to say about that. That is my time this week. Thank you guys for coming out, supporting the podcast. We will have clips up today. I think the first, or tomorrow, I think the first clip should probably be the life and times of Marlo Dickens. Because he just out here telling all the tea, telling everything. That is
I
our
wasn't
time.
spilling tea. Might have been Hennessy.
Marlo, TP, and myself, good night.
Peace.